What's going on, guys? Danny here with Pro Transmissions over in Athens. All right, so one of the biggest topics and one that everybody talks about is diagnosis. Why should you have to pay for diagnosing? Why do shops charge? So I'm gonna show you all two instances. I'm gonna show y'all, first video is gonna be what people think and what places, I'm not gonna name names, but what places do. They just hook up a scanner and show, and what actually goes through on diagnosing. On a particular video that we're going on, we diagnosed two different cars. The first one was a Kia, the second one was a Mustang. On the Mustang, we actually had to tear things apart. So come along with us, let me show y'all. We got a code P0302. Just need spark plugs, that's all it is. All right, so giving you a little bit of backstory on the Mustang. It had quite a few different codes, and it had a noise on there. One of the codes was for a evaporative emission system leak, and it had a noise coming from, at the time we didn't know, but after diagnosing it, we found it had a noise coming from the water pump. So guys, diagnosing entails a lot of different things. You know, in some cases, it's not as easy as just pulling a code. We have to go through and physically tear things apart, physically put our hands on it to feel the bearings, to feel the bushings. Let's say, for instance, on the code for the evaporative emission system leak, we physically had to, on the Mustang, which I know I didn't show it in the video, but we actually had to put it on a smoke test, and we found there was a broken pipe that went into the intake manifold. So essentially, that's what happens is, and that's what you're paying for in time. In the time, it's not only just pulling the codes, but it's physically diagnosing, physically finding out what is the root of the cause of the problem, because essentially the shop that you're taking your vehicle to is putting their stamp on what's wrong with the vehicle. You know, so you're paying for that diagnosis, for that knowledge of finding out what's actually wrong with it. So again, before you sit there and give your shop a hard time on what's wrong with it and why you need to pay for such things, find out what they actually have to do. Now, if it takes something, like for instance us, if it takes us only 5 minutes to find out what's wrong with the car, we're not going to charge a customer. But if it's something that takes us an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours, then of course we have to charge. So those are questions that you have to have. And also your shop should be asking you a bunch of questions. What kind of noise is it making? Don't be afraid to make the noise to them. Believe me, we've heard a lot of different things. So always remember that, guys.